we didn't text each other about what colors we're wearing, but we're seem very well harmonized today.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's spring, that's why we're all about the pink and purple.
Yeah, exactly. So, hello to everybody.
Hello.
If this is your first time joining us, we're Kim and Jen from Fleece and Harmony, a woolen mill in Belfast, Prince Edward Island, and sheep farm. We have our own sheep, and we make our yarn from wool from our own flock and from the flock of other farmers on PEI. So everything that we spin here in the mill is actually sourced 100% from Prince Edward Island. If this is not your first time joining us, welcome back. And we've got lots of updates since the last episode.
Yeah, and I'm just grinning wildly because I forgot. I'm looking at the list that we have in front of us, and it says PEI Fibre Festival update, and I forgot what a major announcement we have coming at the end of this episode.
Right. Oh, you forgot about it.
I forgot that we were announcing that today.
Oh,
so
okay.
now I'm like super excited.
Yes.
I'll be giddy the whole time. How fun for you.
Yeah, great. Even more laughing than usual. Okay. Yes. So the farm update, as we do always, we do a farm update, which usually is really a weather update. Then we talk about our works in progress, our whips, and our finished objects. And we do a shop update, other adventures. We wander, our conversation wanders to all kinds of other things. It's just
and it is a knitting podcast, but it's also a farm podcast.
Right.
So if you don't like poop, it may not be for you.
I can't believe you said it. The word
poop.
All right, we talk about everything
first.
We're pretty candid.
Yeah.
Right.
So hopefully it's your cup of tea.
Right.
We also like tea.
Yes.
The days are getting longer, and it was +5 yesterday, and we're absolutely deliriously happy.
Yes. So there's still lots of snow.
Yeah.
But everything really melted a lot. 5 degrees yesterday, just hovering slightly above 0 today, and then a weather warning for Thursday.
Winter's on its last legs.
Hopefully.
It can fight all at once, but it will have to leave eventually.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
So, no horses got loose.
I think nothing bad happened.
Nothing bad happened in the last 2 weeks. So
you can see we really have to think about it.
Yeah. Was there anything? No. We almost ran out of wood. Firewood.
Yeah,
so we have a wood burning furnace in our house, our 150-year-old house, which doesn't seem like it has any insulation in it whatsoever.
It doesn't.
Yeah. So we burned through almost 12 cords of wood to keep our house heated for the winter, and it's not quite at the end of February, and we can already tell that we're gonna run out. So we did get some more. We found some more, which is not always a given at this time of the year. So Ken's over there stacking the new wood.
Just when it was such a proud moment because we're normally like trying to get it all in, and then it gets snowed on and blah, blah, blah. He got the whole 12 cords in the basement this year, and it was like, and then we ran out.
Yeah.
And that probably sounds like a lot to most people,
Yes.
but that house is a beast.
Yes, and we're not the only ones that burn that much.
I'm sure
In
not.
fact, we've actually had one person say, well, is that all it takes to burn?
Who said that?
Somebody.
God.
They were like, yeah.
Glad I don't live in their house.
Yes. Anyway, we also have an oil furnace because you can't get your house insured if you don't have a backup heat source for your house as well. So we have an oil furnace, but we really try not to use the oil. And this year, so far anyway, is the first year that we actually didn't even have to turn the oil furnace on. We used wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a reality of our lives.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of the introduction.
And why we're always covered in bark and wood chips.
Yes.
Not surprisingly.
Yes. And so then just before we move on to the first little thing on the agenda, if you like us, then give us a thumbs up.
Thumbs up and subscribe.
Yeah. And you can also turn on notifications.
Yes.
So you don't miss an episode.
Yeah, and we're also posting tutorials.
Right.
Trying to do them fairly regularly.
Right.
We're getting around to it.
We're going to do a little one today.
Yeah, we have one today.
Okay. So we'll keep, we're actually developing a little playlist with all the tutorials.
Yes.
And we're going to tell you about another idea that we have for doing like kind of a series. And if you want to comment on that, that would be great.
That'll be fun.
Well. Yeah.
That's going to be good.
So right now, you're not going to believe it. I think people are going to think that I'm just using Joe Bat's arm to, this is like the gift that keeps on giving. It's never over. It is never over.
It's over now.
So I just want to make a couple comments about my Joe Bat's arm because I redid the neck. So 3 episodes ago, I finished it.
Right. And you had it on.
Yes, I had it on. It's the episode where I'm wearing it. But the neck was quite wide. So in the pattern, it says to reduce the needle size to do the collar until you get it stiff enough that it stands up and is quite close to the neck. I didn't do that, so I didn't follow Jennifer's Beal's instructions, and I just knit it, and it was more like a big boat neck instead of a collar. So I love the sweater. It feels so nice. I was trying to describe to someone about the texture of the yarn. It was made in Selkirk worsted, and the only word that I can think to describe it is creamy. I don't know, it doesn't make sense to use creamy to describe yarn, but I just love it. So I'm going to show you what I did. And you know that we're big fans about, we talked about it in the last episode that I was going to redo it. So it's all done now.
It's perfect.
And yes, there's my little ends are felting there where I joined the, so what I did to fix it was I frogged back to right above the gray stripe because I didn't want to take the whole thing out, and I had already done like this decorative edge on the seam here, so I didn't want to be bothered with like trying to fiddle around with that. So I took it back to right above. There's just a plain slate gray knit row right above the line of oyster. So I frogged it back to there. I actually wound up all the yarns that I had taken out. They were all short and all the ends had been woven in and everything. But I figured if I was making the neck smaller, then I'd have more than enough yarn on the scrap. So I did that. Very
not surprised.
Yeah, very frugal of me to do that.
You?
And then no yarn goes to waste, as we've said before. And then what I did was I went down a needle size. So like 0.5 of a millimeter, and I did the rows up until the next, there's another little line of oyster that goes through the middle of the motifs. So I did a half needle size smaller up to that point, and then down another half needle size when I was doing the last half. I think this pattern is only, like once you get to the motif, I think it's only like 14 rows or something. So it's not very, not a lot of rows. And had enough yarn from the scraps that I did and finished it, and it's perfect.
Yeah. Now we all like it.
Yes, we all like it.
She did several surveys to see if we might not have to fix the neck, and it was unanimous.
Yeah.
The neck needs
so
to be fixed.
One more thing that I want to talk about this is that this sweater was actually mentioned on another podcast. So the person that was talking about it was talking about her concern, I guess, that your gauge would have to be absolutely perfect to be able to put it together. And I did want to say that is actually not the case. That's what it seems like, and that was what I was really afraid of as well. Why I didn't want to, I wanted to knit it because I really liked the pattern, but I was terrified to knit it because I thought, well, my gauge is not necessarily spot on. So how will I ever be able to put it together? But I have to say that you don't really need to worry about it. You need to know what your gauge is, and you need to pay attention to your gauge, but it doesn't have to be exact, because the trickiest bits are actually picked up stitch for stitch, and when you're picking up, you can kind of, you have a little room to maneuver.
Right.
So in fact, my fears were completely unrealized. And you knit this raglan detail as a loop, and then down a straight line all the way down, which is steep, so it's in the round. And this part is the front and the back are sewn to this part, and when you're sewing, you can make adjustments if the length is a little bit different. So mine weren't perfect, and I sewed them up, and then the ribbing at the bottom is applied. So you just pick up and start the ribbing. So you like I said, I'm not going to say forget about your gauge. You still need to pay attention to your gauge, but it doesn't have to be scientifically precise.
The entire sweater working doesn't depend on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if you were on the fence, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Knit the Joe Bat's arm.
Yeah.
It's a stunning showpiece. For sure.
Yes. I thought, although
it is really nice. It's like my
I know,
ahava.
it feels creamy.
My ahava is made out of this. Very soft.
Yeah.
Almost silky.
Yes. So the funny thing is though, Ken was laughing because we went to there's a place like it's Founders Hall downtown in Charlottetown. It's a kind of a new kind of foodie place, and they've got little shops and coffee shops and stuff in there. And we were there, and I had my Joe Bat's arm on, and he was laughing at me because I was waiting for him to get the coffee, and they've got like designer donuts and stuff there. And these people were walking by and stuff, and some of them were looking at my sweater, but I made sure that I kept my arm like this because all the detail is like hidden in
What a peacock.
Yes, the detail is hidden under your arm actually,
right.
And that's what's the big surprise.
Well, I think the cable lace on the front is pretty nice too.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
But I was like, he said, "What are you doing? Why are you standing?"
Oh my gosh.
Said I'm displaying my sweater. He says, "Yes, I can see it." I think it's the thing that I'm the most proud of that I've made.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it really was a fun project.
I don't know if I could pick. I mean,
Your favorite project?
Yeah. I think it might be coming up. I don't know.
It's kind of like children, I guess. You can't
I can't. And especially between Jennifer's, because here's my step-aside too, which I just love. And I'm actually still planning to make a second one of these. But I've got committed to another test knit and things,
So that's it. So I think I really don't think that there's anything else I can say.
No, I
about
don't
Joe.
think
I think
so.
it's over.
Yeah.
Joe Bat and I are breaking up.
No.
As far as our public
He's off the
persona goes. He's
podcast.
off the podcast at this point. But, all right. So then, but a continuation is I had yarn left over from the Joe Bat's arm, and I needed to do like a smallish. I wanted to do a smallish project. So I think I have my Kate Davies book here somewhere. Yeah. So I was looking around in this book that we're gonna hopefully pronounce it right. Millarochy.
I have no idea. I feel like it should come with the phonetic spelling guide.
Yes.
I think if you know how to say it, please enlighten us.
Yeah, let us know.
Send us the phonetic.
Yeah, so this book is absolutely delightful. We've talked about it here before because there's actually a pattern done by a designer from Nova Scotia. Yeah. And the pattern that I decided to make out of this book is Roman in the Gloman. No, Roman in the Gloman.
Okay.
And there's the picture. It's got those little tassels on the back. So I just love it because it's cute.
There's one I want to make in here too, so you go ahead and
yeah.
I'll show
So
the one
here
that I
it's a
wanna
little
make.
tam.
Yes.
So you can block it as a tam, or you can use it as a slouch hat. So I think I'm gonna rock it old school, going with the tam with the. We'll see.
I'm doing the complete opposite, but
if it doesn't work, then I'll just reblock it, and it'll be a slouch hat.
Yeah.
But so I'm actually using the oyster from my Joe Bat's arm, the slate from my Joe Bat's arm, and then the November sky. The blue is going to be the background for when the motifs, so it has little flower motifs. And then I think I'm going to go completely crazy on the flowers because I have some yarns left of different colors that I would never have put together in my previous projects, but I'm feeling pretty
cool. I'm excited to see what this is. Okay, don't even show me.
Okay.
I'll find out when everybody else finds out. You're going to go on a color journey without me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna put some things together that I like individually, but they don't really.
I'm sure it'll be fun. Whatever.
Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. So this is actually a really fun project, and the ribbing is gorgeous. Look at that.
Yeah, it's fancy. What is that?
I know. It's you do
It's like a lace ribbing.
Yes, a lace ribbing.
Beautiful.
It's super easy.
Go Kate. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually not sure that she's the designer.
Oh right. Well, it's her book.
It's her book. Yeah.
Quite
we'll check
not.
who the designer is if it's not Kate Davies. And you've got lace in the this, you do this 4 times a repeat, and then you do the nice little colorwork top. It's top like the crown. It's really fun. So, and I'm using this was really the tour de force for the ChiaoGoo Shorties as well, because it started out I made a short set, a 16-inch set. Then as you did all the increases and you've got this round, I actually extended the cord inside. So there's a connector in that set that you can connect the cords. And that's something that I haven't knit with before with the connector, but it's absolutely smooth. The join is perfect.
Yeah, I used it before.
Have you?
Yeah, and I used a lot of shorties on my project coming up too.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure to knit because you've got the tools.
Yeah, super important.
Yep.
So the one that I want to make in here, I have no idea how to say, but and of course it takes sock yarn, but this.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take a while. There's a lot of extra fabric at the back here.
Yeah.
But what I love about it is the crown.
Oh. Yeah.
I can't wait. So I think I might start that soon. I'm gonna do it
fun
with
to
a
have a
night.
little project.
It'll be a night without stars and seagull in
Yeah.
our sock yarn.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
And this is that's the delight of some pattern designers, or just have it going on, is that you discover little details that you might not notice when you first look, and that just make it a little bit special. So, for the Jennifer Beal sweaters, there's often a little detail in this join or this just to finish it and make it look beautiful. This is the little eyelet in the rib, and there's a couple other little things in this pattern, and those are the things that just set your project. They bring it to another level. I think.
It makes life fun.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So my little tiny ball of yarn is
Okay.
there, and I have to
All
change.
right.
Okay.
So
Do you want me to talk about my hinterland, or do you want to talk
you
about
haven't
yours?
started it?
No.
Okay, we'll keep going.
Okay. So I mentioned in the last episode I'm doing Hinterland. This is the next project that I'm doing. So that's a Jennifer Steingass yoked sweater. And I'm not going to show it because it's just skeins of yarn. I showed it before. So I'm using thistle and pine forest as the color. So dark green with thistle, which has pops of purple and green and stuff in it. So I'm also going to knit that in our Selkirk worsted, but I did a gauge swatch, and I was really a good girl because I have no problem knitting gauge swatches. I'm a big fan of gauge swatches, but I always knit flat, even if the sweater is in the round. And I thought, since I'm now becoming so particular about fitting and everything, that I really should do it correctly. So, and don't write. I know that this swatch is really not big enough because it's not enough rows, but I did the swatch in the round, and you just leave you loop your yarn around to keep going around, and then you just cut the yarn up. And what I did was, I wasn't sure about the recommended needle size with the Selkirk worsted. I thought the fabric was going to be a little bit too loose. So I did half the swatch on the recommended needle size, and then I went down a needle size on the top half. I washed and blocked it, and then I counted up the gauges of what I liked. So this is an important part. I think we both agree on this, is that we no longer gauge as a guideline. We go for the fabric that we like.
And needle size is an almost useless suggestion. Just tells you where to start.
Yes, a starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had this conversation at knit night. There was somebody that had 2 swatches for a project that they wanted to do, and one was on the recommended needle size, and the other one was on another needle size. And she was like, well, I should just stick with the recommended needle size. I said, well, which one do you like the best? And she said, well, I like the denser fabric. And I said, okay, well, we'll figure out how so you can knit it. So that's what we're doing, and I think we're gonna do, we'll do a little bit of a tutorial on that, because otherwise it's hard to substitute yarns if you don't, it's easy, but it does take a little explanation, so we won't go into it right now. But I did the swatch half and half, and decided that I like the denser fabric, still not on gauge. But luckily, there's a size of the sweater with the right amount of stitches that I can knit, so I can just follow the pattern.
I do that
of a different sign. So you do that all the time.
Yeah.
I rarely had done that, but I'm going to do that now. So I haven't even cast on yet, and I'm just going to quickly show. These are my notes you can't read anything because it's too small, but it's already all marked up, and it all just has to do, it's nothing, it's little notes to myself. I read the pattern through completely because I got in trouble with my Emma by not reading the pattern through. Figured out where there are parts where I can make adjustments and where to do it, so I made notes to myself on that. And that comes from doing the Cocoknits workbook, because you have to think when you do it before you even start, and then your knitting goes smoothly. And somebody asked a question in one of our Ravelry threads, not the Ask Us Anyone, or no, on the YouTube comments, about using Cocoknits method in other patterns. And I actually did that with this sweater because the waist shape, there's no waist shaping in this pattern. And I liked the waist shaping that I had from my Emma. So it's not a direct, I'm not taking the directions from Emma and putting it on this sweater, but the method, the thought process that went behind that waist shaping in that other pattern taught me how to do the modifications for this. So we said that you would get the benefits of this doing this workshop for all your knitting, and in fact with my very next project, that's exactly true.
Yeah, I mean, I've always done it anyway, just because at the end of the day you're coming out with a number of stitches for a measurement, and all you have to do is multiply the number of stitches by the measurement you want in the fabric you like, and then determine what size of the pattern will get you as close to that as possible. And I know it's hard to understand unless you work through the process, but it's really that simple. And it makes such a huge difference in how your things fit. And in fact, the question we got, I don't remember the name of the person who asked it, but they were asking about ranunculus. This is my ranunculus, which I've beaded with Swarovski, which is people loved, and I love it, and I have 2 of them. But one thing that we learned about ranunculus from Jennifer Hicks halfway through knitting my second one is that the cover of that pattern, the photos that are with it, the model is wearing a size larger than what they would normally wear. So
it doesn't go by her measurements.
It's a very, very, very slender, it looks like a child wearing the largest size that the pattern comes in. So it's actually not that boxy. Like, I knit to pattern for this one perfectly, and it's, you know, I'm not very large, and this is how wide it is. So I know a lot of people are still considering making these, but don't be misled by the pattern photos, because that's a very small person wearing the largest size that the pattern comes in.
So because that's the look they wanted.
So there's 2 variations of the pattern. They are they're like one size fits 50%. And then one size fits the other 50%. And this very slender girl is wearing the larger 50% size. So the pattern is actually not written that roomy. But it's a cool look, and I can certainly, you know, rock that if I wanted to as well. But it is a bit misleading when you're going to, because I'm like, why is it so small? Like, everything's perfect, but it just has to do with the photos.
And this person that wrote was worried that she was going to have to do like a lot of modifications to get a size that was going to be more near fit. And it was disclosed in the pattern, but it was kind of in the fine print, right? It was I
didn't see it.
Now, I find more and more patterns now are saying what size the model is, which is really helpful. Because you can wear sweater, like your boyfriend's sweater, you're going to make that bigger on purpose. So it's not that it's too big for you, it's it's the look that you want. So, you know, you can do whatever
this is not super boxy.
No.
And I've also blocked this within an inch of its life. Like, I mean, to make it a bit long. Like, it's really a loose fabric, but it doesn't look, I'm not swimming in it. No.
So there's your knitting empowerment.
Okay. We'll put all this aside.
So we'll put all that aside.
All right. I have whips. Where to begin? So, of course, I'm doing this flat rock test knit, and I got quite a bit done. And does it look like quite a bit?
Well, I can see how fine the needles are.
So
and it's lace.
I'm on 2.5 millimeters here, and
it's very cool.
I don't know what to say. I mean, we still love it. This is the back. It's very cool.
It looks like it's really heavy, but it's not.
It's light squishy. And airy. It's squishy. It's like a triple layer of stitches. That's why. So every row is 3.
But it's not heavy.
And I made a mistake and it ran like crazy, and I was able to fix it. And you can't tell it all on the front, but you can see here I'm missing a gray.
Oh. Full disclosure.
So what's that? That's, what do you call, that's my modesty stitch, or what do you call that when they put a mistake in it on purpose? Yeah. So now mine's not reversible. Actually, you can see, I think it's right there, right? You can see kind of a mess right here.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, it was the best I could do.
Yeah.
Like 3-strand brioche or whatever this is. And it just started going. It went like when my hair caught on fire on the propane burner. It was very similar. And so I just had to stop it and do something. And there's a few irregularities in there, but you'll obviously never see it on the front.
Plus, this is really blooming beautifully as well.
Yeah. I love it, but it's slow. It's slow going. I have 4 more inches to do on this part, I think.
Yes.
And then I have to do a second one of these, but I think I'm going to do the sleeves in between, which is what everybody has pretty well decided to do in the test knitting group, because facing another 14 inches of this after you've just completed it.
Your concentration.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's like, the sleeves are not any easier. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Just different.
So is this, would you say it's the same? The pattern as well, I'm assuming, is excellently written.
Yeah.
So
there's no issue.
Hard.
It's just tiny needles.
Yeah.
And every row is 3 rows.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
It's beautiful. And it really feels like something different.
Yeah, it's like you can see between here, the gray is joining in the front, and in between each gray stitch, there are 2 rows of a different color of lace yarn.
It's amazing.
So every row is like 3.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, this is gonna be my Everest, but I'm very excited.
It's amazing though that the back is so beautiful as well, like the non-public side.
Well, it would be if I hadn't made that big mistake right there.
You can just put a little duplicate stitch over
I know, I've already thought of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and people are concerned about the ends, and I don't know what Jennifer Beal's thought is on the whole thing, and of course I haven't read the pattern through, but I am going to stitch it with my sewing machine like it was a steek and then trim them off.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah, and then that'll be in the seam anyway.
Like, this is no different than trimming a steek. Yeah. Every row has an end in a steek.
Yeah. Yeah.
Relax, people. People are writing into her like it's like she's purposely trying to make their lives miserable or something. Like, just use your imagination for Pete's sake.
Problem solving.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so I have another whip. So I would have had that done, obviously, but I'm really craving finishing this Franken sweater or the boyfriend sweater or whatever you want to call it. It wouldn't fit anyone's boyfriend at this point because it's actually, now that I've seamed it, it's quite small. Hard to believe. So I obviously got one sleeve done, and I got the sides sewn up last night at knit night. And I don't have the second sleeve knitted, but I was so keen to hold up something that looked like, that resembled a sweater, that I attached the one sleeve.
Oh, okay.
And now I went over to here, and I have to knit the second sleeve before I can finish that row to attach it.
You did a great job on your seaming.
I did an all right job. I used back stitch.
Yeah.
And
it's seed stitch.
Yeah,
it's probably really hard to see. But
it was very hard to see. So I do have a little bit of a bulge on the first side I did. It was hard for me to tell where I was coming out on either side of the fabric. I could have pinned it.
You were also doing it on knit night.
Yeah, but you know what? It's with blocking and stuff. It's fine. And it's all turned to the inside.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So on the sleeve, I had a lot of fun with my blue ChiaoGoo Shorty small set.
Yeah.
Because of course I started out with the 2-inch tips. Yeah. And then I didn't have to change my cord. As I went up, I just switched to the 3-inch tips. Oh, okay. So if you're wondering why there's 2 sets of each size in the thing, that's why. And it's much easier to switch the tip than change or extend a cord.
Yes.
And so I went from, it increases your whole needle set by 2 full inches. Yeah. And then that was enough for me to get through the number of increases I needed. And then when I went to add this on, this cord was too small, and I used a connector in here. And one thing that came in really handy as I was sliding this all along and trying to get the sleeve on, and obviously increasing the number of stitches on my cord by a lot, I kept slipping off over here. So
I see you're very coordinated.
I know, I didn't mean to do that.
Even with your scrap yarn.
I can't help myself. I didn't mean to do that. That's funny. This was left over from my Merled Mania. Yeah. Anyway, after that happened 3 times, I thought, I wonder if the stitch stopper would be strong enough to allow me to really manipulate this around and look.
Yeah.
It worked.
Oh, okay.
So
Great.
these are really useful.
Yes. So we actually had customers asking before they purchased them how
Robust.
sticky they
Yeah,
were.
they're pretty sticky.
Yeah.
Look.
So, yeah.
Originally I had the green ones on here. They're all different sizes by color.
Oh, okay.
And I went down to the yellow and then that worked.
Okay.
The green was okay for just throw it in your bag, but for something like that where you really didn't want it to come off, I think they're amazing.
Yes. And it doesn't look like they're stretching at all.
I wouldn't think
They've got a good grip.
Yeah.
I can't do that because I have my
Oh, I know.
hole.
You have it. Guess what happened? Last night she drove her needle into her ChiaoGoo hole, and what happened? She cried out.
Oh, a little bit.
Oh. It happened several times. Finally, she had to go get the tape.
Yeah, Scotch tape.
Anyway, so it really does hurt when you do that.
Yeah, I heard it pop.
So this is my Franken sweater.
Great.
So I found out last night because I'm terrible at remembering details, which will be part of our other adventure story for today. Karen said this isn't due until the middle of April, or the flat rock isn't due till the middle of April. So I think I have time to finish this.
Oh. Okay.
So I'm going to work on this like crazy, maybe even have it done for next episode.
Great.
I think.
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay.
I don't know.
The shawl the shawl collar is heavier amount of work than what you would think, or no?
I'm going to make it bigger this time, but I don't think so.
Okay.
And it's a V-neck and it goes around and I've got this, I mean, I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
you're a faster knitter than I am.
Yeah, I mean, the sleeves are pretty long. This is 20 inches because I'm making a size 41 chest. And, but it's not going to be huge or anything. Like, it's just going to fit me the way I want it to.
Yeah.
Like, slightly like you borrowed it from someone.
Right.
So that's the Franken sweater.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the progress on that.
That's good.
And that's what I've
And
done.
it's satisfying getting that done.
It will be very. I'm a little disappointed about all the dog hair that's still on it and how felted it looks from being in my office for a year.
That's Charlie's bed.
Yeah.
We should tell everybody about Charlie.
Great. Well, I put up her little picture. So she just had her 13th birthday.
Yes.
And she seems fine.
Yes.
I don't know what's going on internally because of course I haven't taken her back for another ultrasound and I haven't had her blood taken again because to be honest with you, I just don't want to know.
Yeah.
But she's very energetic and like a perfect 13-year-old dog.
Yes.
So our theory was it was the onion. The vet's theory was she had bleeding cancer tumor in her stomach.
Yeah.
And she seems fine. So that's all we know.
That she wasn't going to make it till Christmas.
Yeah. So we've got two theories, but by looking at the dog,
Yeah.
she looks fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think probably she's got some kind of little something growing, but that's not what's going to...
Yes. Well, I did see something on the ultrasound,
Yes.
but that may not have been what actually caused the anemia. It was probably the onion.
Yes.
I hope. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we're saying now.
Yeah. She could be having... She has underlying issues, but that's not...
She seems recovered.
They're not acute.
She seems recovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Okay.
All right. So, you wanted to talk about the flock fingering.
Right. So we made another flock fingering. I had to make another batch to kind of finish off the orders from the last time we mentioned it. So there's actually, I put it in the newsletter, but nobody really took us up on the offer. But there's quite a few twilight and some dawning and quite a few gloaming available for sale right now. So I'll relink to it again. I was going to say downstairs, down in the show notes. So if you missed out, because twilight is probably the most popular color, if you missed out on flock fingering in twilight, there's some available now, so you can link to that below.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we have we're just gonna talk about the Nostepinne. So this is a Nostepinne, which is a ball winder. For those that don't know, when you hand wind center pull balls. And I'm not going to bother to show you because we have a tutorial.
Yeah.
So there's at least two different ways that you can wind your balls on the Nostepinne. One way makes that lovely avocado or coconut, as I call it, as kind of an oblong sized ball, and the other one makes a cake. So I'm just going to show in the tutorial both of them. And you're going to notice that I'm using another tool in the tutorial, which I'm going to show you a little bit of a sneak preview too. So we'll go over there and watch that.
Okay.
Okay, so today we're going to do a tutorial on winding yarn with a Nostepinne. So we've talked about the Nostepinne before on our on this podcast. So it's actually quite an old tool that you use to make a center pole ball. And as you know, if you've been watching us, we're just a big fan of the Nostepinne ball, the coconut or the avocado as we call it. But I'm going to show you there's different ways to wind. So the first thing you do is you, I'm just going to put this down. You just make a slip knot in your yarn. And the Nostepinne has a couple little notches on it. There's one at the top and there's also some at the bottom. I use the bottom one, but I think it's more or less personal preference. And you just tighten up your yarn in one of the notches in the bottom. And I'm right-handed, so I wind with my right hand. So I'm holding the Nostepinne in my left hand. I take the tail that's there and I put that under my hand on the handle. And then to get this started on the Nostepinne to start the winding, I'm just going to put it to the front so you can see. I actually hold in the middle with my thumb, and this is where I'm going to start winding. So I'm winding a few strands on just to make a base. Okay, so now you've got a little coil there, and now I'm going to create a next. I'm going to wind around the bottom, touching the wood, and then go all the way up to the top and touch the wood. So I have a little diagonal line. I'm going to turn the Nostepinne slightly, and I'm going to do the same wind again. Another diagonal. Some people do an X, that's okay too, but I just start right away with my little ridge, and when we come around here you're going to catch that bottom loop. So I'm always touching the wood at the bottom and touching the wood at the top, touching the wood at the bottom, and I'm a little bit slow when I first started out just because I just want to keep it kind of neat. Once you've got everything that's tightened up in here, this is not going to move now, so you can kind of relax a little bit, and you just keep going around. You're turning the Nostepinne in the opposite direction that you're twisting the yarn on. If you can see, I'm going this way with the yarn and I'm turning the Nostepinne like this. Okay, so I'm just going to speed it up a little bit, and you don't need to be too worried if you've got gaps in your winds. You don't need to be too fussy about it. It'll all come out perfect. So you can see how this is working. It's looking like a regular wound ball of yarn. I'm going to wind up a little bit, and you'll start to see the coconut shape or the avocado, and then I'll change the way that I'm winding it to make it look more like a cake, so you'll see both, whatever you prefer. Okay, so now that I've got a few yards on there, you can start to see how it looks, and I'm just, oh, my yarn got a little bit, so I just keep going like that. I'm just trying to avoid creating a lump in the middle of it. You can still get rid of it, but it's just easier to keep it neat. I'm just gonna go full speed in case people are worried that it's gonna take them 3 days to wind a ball of yarn. So when I'm doing it full speed, I'm going like this. And the trick to this is just to make sure that you're just winding to the bottom and then up to the top, and you're touching the wood with every, and you can see how that's really starting to thing. So I'm going to wind a bit more, and then I'll show you how you change it into a cake. Okay, so you can really see how it's going to have that slightly oblong shape if I kept balling this way. So now I'm going to show you how you get more of a cake-like shape if you don't like the coconut. So to start the cake, I always start the ball the same way, and then I get a little bit of a few yards on here before I start winding it to make the cake shape, and you'll see why in a second. So what you do just to change the shape of it is you, instead of touching the wood on the top and the bottom, so you're not going all the way to the wood, you're just going somewhere into the edge of the ball. So when you're making the coconut, you're making sure you're touching the wood every turn. When you're doing a cake, you wind on the ball itself. So I'll show you what that looks like. So you see, I'm not touching the wood. Just gonna do a couple winds. Then I'm turning, still making sure I'm not touching the wood. takes a few minutes for it to start to change its shape, but you can already start to see it's starting to flatten out. Okay, so I'm just gonna wind for a few minutes and then we'll come back. So I've got quite a bit wound on here, and I just, when I'm doing a cake shape, I do squeeze it down a little bit just to keep that, flatten it out a bit more, but you can see right away that it has a completely different shape than the other ball. The good news is that it's just as firm, and it's nice and solid no matter which way that you do it. And you're still going to end up obviously with a center pull or an outside pull, whatever you want. So I'm just going to finish winding this, and then I'll show you how we take it off and start using it. So we're coming to the end, so I'm just going to okay, so I just have the last few yards. I'm just going to wind it in the center, like this, in the center of the ball, just to finish it off. Now I just have to take the slip knot off. Okay, take the slip knot off, slide this right off the Nostepinne. And then it's completely smooth inside. It's magnificent. You just tuck the end in here, and you can use it from the outside, or you can pull from the center, and there you have it. And we're back.
Yay!
Yay! So another tutorial to add to the list. I hope it was clear.
I'm slowly getting more tempted to try it. I don't know.
I don't know why everybody's doing it.
Well, I don't want to take it out of stock because we sell them all.
Oh. Well, you blend your mind. Okay, so we've already talked about Scott before, Fox Mountain Spindles, and he is the maker of these beautiful Nostepinnes and the Yarn Buddy, which is another favorite of ours, which you put your center pull ball on.
And the gelatin or whatever it's called.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, I said, it would be great to have like a tabletop Swift, because I have an umbrella Swift, but it always seems to be a hassle trying to find some place to put it and whatever. So you'll notice in the video that I was using the Swift. It's actually, I think he's made a couple of them, but it's sort of like a prototype of a Swift that Scott's going to make.
And I'm just seeing it here first.
Yes, so I'm going to show you. It is on the same base as the Yarn Buddy. So his concern was that the action is too smooth. So we've talked about the Yarn Buddy, about the fact that he must use whatever he uses inside there, the mechanism with ball bearings and stuff is like super slick. So when you're using your Yarn Buddy, it's really beautiful. But this is just like...
And they saw in the tutorial that your yarn did get caught up a little bit when you got ahead of yourself. But you were also very close to it because of how we were trying to frame the shot.
That's right.
Yeah.
So normally I would have this further away to give more leeway.
Yeah.
So it works beautifully.
Yeah.
So it did get a little bit, it went ahead a little bit, but I had talked to Scott about it. I said, I really wouldn't worry about it because it's just... having it work so smoothly is actually a real
And
benefit.
it's mostly a factor of how close you were to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the real thing is not going to have these pins. It's going to have a different type of pin. He's going to make them a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And I think the shape of them is going to be more like this one than, but we'll wait to see. He's
and
just
this is an
working on
adjustable one to find your, like, adjust the width of your skein or whatever. That's brilliant.
It's really
so
well
smart.
made.
Yeah.
And so these, you just put these pegs at whatever length you want. So this is
kind of like a gross adjustment, and then this allows you to do a really fine tension adjustment on the yarn sitting on the winder.
So what I find is the easiest thing to do is I put my skein around the 3 pegs, and then I put it push this one in, so it just unscrews. I push this in, and then I pull it out
until I have the tension that I want.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
But the best part...
No, we're not there
yet.
we're
not there yet.
And there's an Allen key.
Yeah.
So he's embedded a little holder for an Allen
Amazing.
key here so that you never have to worry about it.
Oh, and it's a magnet?
Yes.
Oh, good grief.
I know, he's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have the Allen key, and you're thinking, what would you need an Allen key for? You have a screw on the top here. I'm not going to undo the whole thing, but you take this screw out.
Well,
Should I do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do it while you talk. Okay,
right.
so we're going to remove this with the very handy... Oh, this is a funny occupational hazard of dyeing yarn. So propane like a propane connector winds in the opposite direction of your water tap, screws, everything else in the world. And that's so when I think it's a safety thing so that you know, oh, it makes you think for a minute, this is propane. So so I screw everything in the wrong direction now. Because the most amount of winding of anything I do is the off and on of that propane tank that I used to dye with. And now I turn everything in the wrong direction. Yeah. It's terrible. So now it won't work for me anymore because I think that that's just normal. So I don't think it's propane. I just think that's how you do it. Okay, you put these over on your side carefully.
So this comes together.
Okay, so am I leaving this washer here? Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we put this in here. Right?
Yeah.
Look what's happening. We're turning it into a yarn buddy.
Yeah.
Wow. How much do we love this? This is amazing. And so here's the top tier that goes on top of your ball.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't use them both at once.
No. So
but
you would skein your yarn, and then you have your yarn buddy.
And it goes...
Or skein your yarn.
Yeah.
So
you'd wind it from that to your Nostepinne, then take your center pull ball and put it on your yarn buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So yes, exactly. So you would use your Nostepinne with your Swift.
Yeah.
Make your ball, and then you put your ball on your yarn buddy.
Yeah.
And you'll have it like that.
And now these are not listed yet. To buy.
No. He hasn't. This is a prototype.
Right.
He's got a couple people testing them. But
okay. But when we get them, you'll be the first to know.
Soon.
Yeah. Okay. That's magnificent.
I don't want to put any pressure on him.
So clever. Put this back on your magnet.
Yeah.
Okay. And then where do we store this?
Well, we'll just take it back apart again. But
okay.
the same comment that we make about pattern designers that we like, it's the little details that make the difference.
That's so cool. You put a little magnet in the wood.
And it's a nice strong magnet, so you're not going to lose it.
Genius.
So it's all about
the yarn buddy on its own is wonderful too. And we do have quite a few of these listed if you want, because it's just so smooth.
Yeah.
For when you're knitting to get your yarn off. Okay.
So, and when I say soon, I think it's a couple weeks. We'll have some of these couple weeks. So we'll keep you posted.
Right. So now we're heavy into the shop update. So I talked about the flock fingering. These are the stitch stoppers. They come like this.
And there's jumbo.
Yes, and we have a jumbo box if you typically knit with bulky or above. So these go up to 10 millimeter, and then the jumbo would take over from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So most people would probably use these ones. Yeah. And we already sold out of them once. So our Cocoknits shop area online has been completely updated because we've got a really big order, and we were out of a bunch of stuff. And now I think we have just about everything. And people have asked about the blocking kits. We've had several people ask about the blocking kits, but the blocking kits are so big. They're exceptionally expensive to ship. So that's why we have them marked out. We're not sure how to handle that with our software capability, and so that, I mean, we can't afford to spend $50 to get it to you. However, if you're determined to get one, you're welcome to write to us, and we will arrange to have it shipped to you at your expense.
Yeah.
But we just can't include it in our flat rate shipping. There would be just no point.
Yeah.
We wouldn't make anything on it.
Yeah.
So in fact, we might even lose money depending on where it was going. Yeah. So that's kind of what happened with the blocking kits. They are a wonderful product. And if you're somewhere where you can't get Cocoknits at a shop, by all means, contact us and we will arrange to get one to you. But I don't know when we'll be listing them online again like that, because we can only have so many shipping variations in our software, and it makes it, you can't do individual item rules and things like that.
And we're always doing orders.
Yeah. For Cocoknits. Yeah. So we can get you one, but it won't be going through our regular e-commerce platform anytime soon. So that's the stitch stoppers, and everything else Cocoknits is back in stock. And then we got 2 new colors of the Maker's Keep, and look at how, because they're magnetic, they actually stick together. But how much do I love this hibiscus?
Of course.
Like, how could we not have had pink before?
Yeah.
They only just came out with this. And
Oh,
then,
really?
Yeah, and
Oh.
then tangerine we finally got.
Yeah.
So now we have all the colors of these.
Oh, great.
So
Okay.
there's like a slate, a duck egg is the blue, chartreuse is the lovely chartreuse green,
Yeah.
and then tangerine and hibiscus, and I love them.
Yeah. Oh, you're like Wonder
So
Woman.
fun. Oh! Like the Wonder Woman bracelets! What can I do? What does she say? Does she say something? Kapow!
Well, that's Batman.
Oh, blam! Oh, I want actual Wonder Woman bracelets now. All right.
Oh boy. Okay.
I forgot all about that. That's
Yeah.
a throwback. Okay.
Yeah. All
Sorry,
right.
got distracted. So exciting. Okay. And these penannular brooches. So
Yeah.
we finally got the bees.
Yes.
Because we kept trying to order the bees and accidentally ordering the butterflies.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll put the tutorial up again about how this works, but the pin goes behind.
They have a tutorial.
You
up.
put it, put it through the bees, and then you twist that around, and
Yeah.
it's good locked on.
Yeah.
And we
Cute.
all love bees now
Yeah.
because they're keeping us alive,
That's right.
and we're not doing a very good job of keeping them alive.
Yeah.
So without bees, we all die, just so that's clear, because we won't have any food. So this bee version of the penannular brooch is now in stock as
Yeah.
well,
It's lovely.
and they're really nice.
All the things that we have.
And I
in
mean,
JUL
this is
like,
JUL. Like,
Yeah.
they just really add. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to put something on your knitted item that you want to contribute to the whole look, they're beautiful.
Yeah, they really are.
So that's a big shop update. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, and
I have an update. We have an update to our dump adventure
yes,
before you go ahead
Yes.
without.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So I went back into the home plate.
Right,
2
the
days ago on
restaurant
Sunday,
that
the
we
restaurant
visited.
that we were talking about.
when we went to the dump,
Yeah.
which we had the best comment about ever on YouTube because the person that wrote, her mother used to call it the Sunshine Mall.
Yeah. It's
I
not
love
just us.
Yeah,
So
I love
great.
it. The Sunshine Mall.
So on Sunday, I was touring the island with someone who was visiting, and I don't think I've done touring the island since I've hit 40, but it was hilarious. So let me just say this. So we'd go buy something, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's the Harbor View. It used to be owned by a family, and then the staff took it over, and it was called...
Are you
something? And I'll be like, I'm on the other side of the car. It was a family. It was called this for years. It's been there forever. What was it?
You're not
And
really
then I
trying
had-
to think of it now.
No.
Oh, okay.
And then we go past.
I was gonna
That's
help
what it was
you.
like. It was
Okay.
painful. No, don't help me. So then we go past that, hit like 10 other landmarks, and I'd be like, and then this is, they breed horses. Brahos! Brahos. That's what it was called.
The restaurant.
So 20 minutes later, after, and I'm like, and then they were like, what are you talking about now? The restaurant we passed 20 minutes ago where I couldn't remember the name.
It's the roller.
The Harbor View. It was Brahos.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That's another great story.
Moving on. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to go there.
We should go and record there.
Because the
delicious chowder.
because it was bought by the people that work there.
Yes.
So it was going to close.
Yeah.
And then the people that worked there bought the
Yeah.
restaurant and kept it going. It's really good.
I was in my own little world the whole tour. As the guide. Yeah, trying to.
What's it?
What?
Tour.
Only Maritimers say tour.
Yeah.
I know.
We are a tour. We are Maritimers. We are Maritimers.
Well, I lived in
You just
Alberta
said
and
tour.
Ontario, so they say tour.
Oh, okay.
I've partially lost part of my dialect.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's tour.
All right. Okay.
We say tour down
Yeah.
here. We
That's
also
right.
say dote, and it's doubt.
Like
I didn't say no dote, and that drives Gwen Stefani crazy. She's like, it's no doubt, not dote. It's not a boat.
Oh, sorry, Gwen.
So I don't know who's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway,
Okay.
it's all English. Okay, speaking of that, so we went into the home plate to see Carolyn and the whole English-Irish debate.
Yes.
So we had some very observant viewers point out that the menu that I put the photo of said Irish breakfast, but
And
we
we were
had said
saying
she was
English
English,
breakfast.
but
Yeah.
she is English.
Right.
So here's the scoop. So she lived in England for 20 years. Her mother is Irish and her father is English. I really hope I didn't get those reversed because she already said we were so ridiculous. We were like Laurel and Hardy or the two Ronnies during our story because of course we told her to watch it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, where's she from? I don't know. Didn't do a very good job, so I really hope I've got that right. But I believe, well, let's say this. One of her parents is English and one of her parents is Irish. She was in England for 20 years and then moved to Ireland near Galway for the 22 years she lived there before she moved here to Prince Edward Island. And the truth is, if you look carefully at the menu, the Irish breakfast is a combination of English and Irish breakfast items because Bubble and Squeak is definitely English.
Right.
And she's hilarious, and she was so excited to see me because she thought we were hysterically ridiculous. I think she was laughing at us.
Yeah.
Not
no,
with us.
we prefer to think she was laughing with us.
Okay, well, whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, I felt she had some tables there, and I could tell one of them was a set of new customers thinking, what is going on? Because we were so loud and we were laughing. And she said to everybody, does everybody know why it's called Bubble and Squeak? And I said, well, it's the name it's the sound it makes when it's cooking. She goes, yes, and when it comes out the other end, out your arse. People were eating.
I can't believe you just said that.
I'm quoting her. I didn't say it.
Oh, my.
It's potato and cabbage mixed together.
Okay, my hands my palms just got sweaty.
You were like,
My gosh. Okay.
oh, so it was a good visit.
Yeah.
So I hope
the
we
first
cleared
I
all
heard
that
of
up for
story.
you.
Okay.
I know I saved it.
Okay. Moving on. My hands are actually sweating now. Oh my
God,
goodness.
that made you nervous?
What?
That's nothing compared to the story you told at midnight last night. Take my word for it.
Yeah, I'm not telling that.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
And on that note,
Apologies in advance.
Yes.
Don't feel the need to comment.
okay.
It wasn't me. She said it.
We said we're candid.
That's true. That was good. You
Yeah.
didn't even know I was going to come out
No,
with that.
that's right. That's
Okay.
right. Okay. So,
So
Jennifer,
for those of you who haven't turned off the video at this point,
okay, you need to stay tuned because we've got a big
big
announcement.
announcement.
So Jennifer noted that I kind of moved over the sweater workshop because I had a Cocoknit sweater workshop on the agenda and we didn't talk about it because I started talking about my Emma's.
I don't know what you went.
Anyway,
totally
it
freestyle.
goes until March 31st. We have
Okay.
a knit along. It's still going.
Yeah, there's still time to knit a sweater.
There's actually still time to knit a
Yeah.
sweater because
Yeah.
they go pretty quickly. And we've had some really great ones already there. And actually, with somebody at Knit Night just started one
Yes.
last night.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so there's still time, March 31st, and then we'll pick from the finished objects on that thread. And I said in the last episode that I was going to put a thread for finished objects, and I completely forgot.
Oh, for your coconut. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
People must be done by now.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
there's
okay.
a lot done.
Okay.
Okay.
And we're starting another new thread.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Is now the time to talk about that? Nothing's on the list. There's a bunch of stuff missing.
All right. Well, we already sort of mentioned it. Is that wait? What are you talking about?
The one where they can write in and
Yes.
ask us to do
Yes.
tutorials.
Okay. So we're gonna do a thread for tutorial suggestions.
Right.
But the first set of tutorials that we're gonna do, and this is about doing. This will be about technical stuff. But please.
You know how long I've been knitting.
Yes.
A couple of years.
So it's not. We're not super. We're not expert knitters.
No.
And we're not extra pattern designers, even
No.
though you've designed a couple patterns.
Yeah.
So we're not experts.
But between the two of us.
Yes, we're not experts. We're just, what do they call it? Adventurous. We're not
We're
exact-
adventurous.
Yeah, we're adventurous. So, but, you know, we can share and help. And we have expert knitters watching us. So if it's in that thread, then somebody will answer if we're not able to answer. But we really think it'll be fun to have a thread where people can ask us questions. And one of the most favorite subjects of comments that we get is when people write to us and say, you make so many mistakes, you encouraged me to try something new. And
They're like, if those two knobs can do it.
so we love that comment.
Yeah.
Because we can encourage people to not to be afraid of their knitting,
Yeah.
to have fun.
It's
and
not
take
fatal.
it- No,
You know,
and
if
take
you
it
screw
out.
up, it's all good.
Yeah.
So what do we call it? The whip and rip thread?
No, we'll think of something. We'll just think of something.
We'll think of something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll have that thread started, and as we add that thread to our repertoire, we'll also do a few tutorials on. I'll do like as basic as swatching. Some things that you do all the time yourself as a knitter, you think that everybody just does it that way, or that everybody does it, and it's not the case. And then you can go your lifetime of knitting and have never come across a certain situation where you have to try. So I think we can all help each other a lot.
Yeah.
And we'll do some tutorials along the way just to add some reference.
And we're
material.
not beyond learning something to do a tutorial about.
No.
Even if we didn't know what helical knitting was.
Yeah.
And you've gotten a lot of compliments on that one.
And I use it all the time now.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So that'll be great. So we'll have fun doing that, and we'll all learn together, and all of our knitting will improve.
Yes.
I'm sure.
All right. I think that's all the things that we were missing off the list.
Yes.
Now we'll go to the next thing on the list,
Which is
what
Fibre
has us
Festival.
so hyper and it's super exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Take it away.
Oh, and you want me to make the announcement?
Yeah.
All right. So, if you've been watching us, you know that we're big fans of a certain podcast.
Mm-hmm. The only other knitting podcast we watch religiously, I think.
Without exception.
Yes.
Fruity Knitting.
Fruity Knitting.
Andrea and Andrew are coming to the Fibre Festival.
Yes! They're going to be in our podcaster lounge.
Yes.
And
We
we're
are
going to be
so
on the
excited.
island.
Yeah.
For a while, like touring around. And
Yeah. We are so excited.
Yes.
We can
We're just so
hardly
excited to
contain
meet
ourselves.
them, first of all.
Yeah.
And we're excited for all of you who can now have the opportunity to come. And I don't think they've ever appeared in Canada before.
No.
Yeah.
I asked, they've been to Canada, or Andrew has been to Canada. I'm not sure if
Andrea has been to Toronto for a singing thing.
Right.
Yes.
So they've been here for other things, but never
since they started the podcast.
No.
Yeah.
No.
As knitters.
And in fact, I don't think they've made any appearances in the U.S. until they just went to Vogue Knitting Live. So they were just in Vogue Knitting Live, but they're coming to our Fibre
they're going to
Festival.
be on
Not our
Prince
Fibre
Edward
Festival, but the PEI Fibre
Our
Festival.
one that we're excited about.
Yes. The one that we're excited
It's
about.
the one that's most closest to us.
Yes.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to be there. They're not doing a workshop, but they'll be in the podcast lounge, and they'll be there for 2 days.
Yeah, and maybe some other surprises and things that we're working out with them.
Yeah. So
that's super
exciting.
Yeah, and we hope all of you are really excited too, because it's a very rare opportunity to get to hang out with them.
Mm-hmm.
And the deadline for our booths closed.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a lot of really excellent vendors. We're super excited. There's announcements coming up about
Next
that
week.
shortly.
Yeah.
We got way more instructors than we ever thought we were going to be able to attract, and there's some really, really good ones in knit and crochet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and spinning and other things as well, felting. So our calendar is looking really, really great. And last episode, we put up a number, and we're going to put it up again. So this is the number that you would call to get a hold of Tourism PEI. And they will help you find accommodations. So the Delta, I think there's some availability in our block. There are a lot of other hotels still with availability. And remember, Charlottetown is very small. So you will be able to walk to the festival if you're in Charlottetown, anywhere in the downtown core, which is about 10 or 12 blocks in every direction.
Right.
Yeah. And I know one that we did reach out to is the Holman Grand. And they have rooms available for that weekend. So if you're interested in a hotel that would be sort of a similar standard to the Delta, that's a good one to try.
Right.
And I'll put the name here below. And they know about the festival, and we don't have a rate or anything, but they do have availability if you're not someone who wants to go do a bunch of research. And of course, there's absolutely tons of Airbnbs here on the island.
And in fact, if you go on the Department of Tourism's website, they have links to different accommodations, and we're a tourist area, so we're well set up for accommodations. And if we get more special rates and things that come to the surface, we'll give updates on that as well. So.
Yeah, but for now, if you're in a hurry to book and you want to make sure you secure something, then I think the Delta still has some by the sounds
Last
of
time
things.
I checked,
Yeah.
Did, yeah.
And you have to put in the exact dates though, the 25th to the 27th.
There's a note right underneath where
Okay.
the link is that says you have to put in from the 24th to the 27th.
And that note is on the PEI Fibre Festival website?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so then the Holman is another hotel, and I'll just put their website below.
Right.
So you can try that one.
And there's a link to the PEI Fibre Trail on the PEI Fibre Festival website, and that is last year's participants, and the new one for 2020 is just being worked on, so that will be updated with all the hours of the participants and so forth. That'll be updated shortly, as soon as they're
And most of them will be the same. But
Yeah.
there will likely be a few changes.
Yes.
Yeah, people deciding they don't want to be on it, or people getting added and so
Right.
on. I haven't heard exactly if we've added this year. It's usually around 20 destinations.
Right.
Yeah, so the PEI Fibre Trail is a great thing to plan to do while you're on the island as well. So there's the Fibre Festival, and then we have a Fibre Trail that we've had for a number of years now. That's a
6.
self-guided tour. Oh, is it 6 years?
Yeah,
So
6
it's a
years.
self-guided tour.
Yeah.
Where you can go around and see the bulk of anyone's business who's involved in the fiber arts, I would say.
Yeah.
Most of us do participate in it.
If they've got some kind of a shop
Yes.
or a place where they can welcome the public.
Yes,
They're
in
on
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Okay, so that's exciting.
Yes. So Andrea and Andrew
Yeah.
coming is really
And
something.
I have to say, some of our instructors
Yeah.
are just as exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I'm really excited that this thing is going to be our local festival. Yeah, because we're kind of like, we don't want to work at that. We want to go to all the classes. And
Yeah. So we'll make more announcements as they become available. And the people that are working on the website the vendor list will go up, and the instructor list will go up, and they will there's a newsletter that you can sign up to, so the people that subscribe to the newsletter will actually get the announcement first.
Yes.
And then then it'll be announced publicly.
Yeah.
So if you're interested and you think you might want to get like a first look at the vendor list and the workshop schedules and so forth, then go to PEIFibreFestival.com and you can click on subscribe, and you'll get all that.
So you don't, if you're even on the border, or on the, what do you say, on the
Fence?
On the fence. Jeez. And I'm a farmer too.
Yeah.
My mind is too crowded. On the fence.
Yeah.
The advance announcement might, sway you one way or the other.
Right.
And so if you want to know ahead of time who the exciting instructors and other guests that we have coming, definitely sign up for the email
You'll be
list.
the first to know.
Yeah.
I guess we kind of blew it on the fruity knitting announcement because
We said it first.
we said it
Now this is the first place to find out.
for that.
We had permission.
Yeah. For that. Anyway, we just couldn't. There was no way that we couldn't say it because we're just such big fans.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, I think that's it for today.
I think so.
That was a jam-packed episode full of a range of ridiculous things that I hope Kim's not going to make me cut out.
No, so you do the editing. It's up to you.
Now we said poop and arse.
Yeah. Oh, and now we just said it again. It reminds me of that scene in Love Actually.
Yeah. Oh, funny. One of our favorite movies.
Yeah.
All right. So goodbye, everyone.
Okay.
Oh, and did we say subscribe? Don't forget to
we
like
did at the
and
beginning.
subscribe. And if you think you have other fibery friends who might enjoy our podcast, please share it on your social media and help us grow.
Yeah.
All right.
That's great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a great 2 weeks.
Yeah.